accessibility specialist, UX lead,
Learning.
strategic UX consultant, conference designer, designing for conversions, and karaoke superstar.
It happened once, and
But
it
you
was
were a
great.
superstar.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome to stage, Piccia
Thank
Neri.
you so much.
Thank you. Water. And you've got the clicker? Yeah.
Sorry, just so the ticker, because tickers are weird creatures. I'm just going to check because it happened before. So this is forward, is it? And that's backwards. Perfect. Just easy. Great. Cool. Is it happening? I mean, I can see it, but I know it. You need to see it.
There we go.
Perfect. Can anyone identify with this scene, being in the water, in the sea, with a village in the background? Has anybody been here before? No? That's interesting. This place is called Dahab, and it's a tiny village on the coast of the Red Sea in Egypt, which is the mecca of scuba diving and free diving. And I love it because there's a hippie, relaxed vibe. It's so chilled. It's great. And I also love it because it's doing crazy things. No, but it's not where it's supposed to be, sorry. So, how do I... It just jumped about 10 slides. So there's a bit of an anticipation. Won't go backwards. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. Okay, perfect. Here we are again. Ignore what you saw after. This is where we are. We are in a magic wonder world underneath the waves in Dahab. Wherever you go, it's like this. You're gliding between gorgeous sea creatures, dancing in the sun rays. So that's why I decided when I was there that I wanted to do a free diving course. Free diving means that you go underwater without any equipment on a single breath. I wanted to do more than just snorkel. I wanted to be one with the fishes, gliding silently among them, and I wanted to practice meditation in motion on a single breath. So that's I signed up to a free diving course, and the first thing that you do is they teach you how to do the safety in the classroom, and then you go to the water. And that's where my dreams came crashing down entirely, because I discovered that I had a big problem. Basically, I wasn't able to equalize. Simply put, that means that my ears hurt too much for me to get them to pop. And that's a big problem in freediving, because to get your level 1 certification, you're meant to dive down vertically on a rope. And you need to get down to at least 10 meters. And I wasn't able to go any further than 3 meters. And that was at the cost of excruciating pain in my inner ear. So that would not do. So my instructor sent me to the village to an ear specialist who visited me, and he asked me, "Where do you live?" And I said, "I live in London and I cycle everywhere." And he said, "Haha, that absolutely figures, because you have a chronic inner ear infection due to pollution. You just may be able to train your ears to dive with less pain, but that may take years." And I was crushed at that point, because my dreams of gliding among fishes like a silver-haired mermaid just gone. But anyway, so life goes on, and I didn't think about it anymore, because unless I was in the water, I thought that that had no influence on my life. That's what I thought. Now, fast forward to just a few weeks ago, in a hospital in Spain, where I was waiting for some test results, underneath some very bright fluorescent lights. After a couple of hours of that, I had a major fainting fit. I had to rip the mask off my face. I was overcome by a powerful wave of nausea, and I just crumpled on the floor in a dizzy heap, which is a good idea to do that in a hospital if it has to happen to you, because they just wheeled me off and gave me a whole set of tests, at the end of which they said, "You're absolutely fine, nothing wrong with you that we can work out, please leave." And I was still really wobbly. I was like, okay. So I called a family member to pick me up. And so the nurses wheeled me out to the entrance underneath another fluorescent light, exactly the same. So after 30 seconds, luckily when my niece, I saw her arrive at the door with in the taxi, and I was like, get me out of here. I was just about to be sick again in exactly the same way. Got in a taxi, and I have to confess, I'm sorry for the gory detail, but I had to stop the taxi after like 200 meters and relieve myself by the side of the road because I was, it's a gory detail, but I really need you to understand just how sick I was feeling. Then I got home, and I was much better, and I researched it a little bit, and I worked out that light sensitivity is very common for people affected by vestibular disorders. And especially neon lights have a flickering frequency that can and does trigger episodes just like mine. So I then went that day, the very same day, I went to a cafe where they made the same dubious choice of lighting as the hospital with a friend. And after 10, 15 minutes, I was like, oh my God, let me leave this place. And I just rushed out. So there's now no doubt left. I have what is called a vestibular disorder, which I really should have known because it was diagnosed years ago by a specialist in the sector. But I just hadn't twigged, I hadn't worked out that that had an influence for me in my everyday life. From the Online Project website, this is how they explain the vestibular system. Your vestibular system is the sensory mechanism in the inner ear that detects movement of the head and helps to control balance. They also carry on to explain that people with vestibular disorders have a problem with their inner ear. Hi, me. And crucially, it affects their balance as well as their visual perception of their world around them. Ha-ha! Major light bulb moment. Sorry about the light pun once again. Finally, I have a sound, solid, demonstrable reason why I hate animations on the web. Basically, whereas Tina, animations are the glitter of the web. That's the new title for this presentation, by the way. So, in short, your GIFs and your animations literally make me sick. I have... I'm sorry, I have seen a few, and you know, if you didn't know, now you know. Let's put it like this. But let's have a look a little bit further, because this is one, interestingly, this is really disabling conditions for some. I think I'm relatively lucky that I have it, sort of mild if you want, but it's an invisible disorder. You can't actually see it. And by the way, then I went on to research. It's definitely not just me, because 35% of US adults, which is the data I was able to find, age 40 plus, present evidence of vestibular dysfunction. And this is very reputable medical studies that prove that. By the way, that's about 69 million, and that's the population of Thailand. That's how many people. But it doesn't stop there, because then there's 80 million, 4%, so more or less the size of London, maybe a bit smaller, of US adults report chronic balance problems, 1.1% chronic dizziness, and 80% age 65 plus have experienced dizziness. But if you think that it's just us oldies, think again, that's not the case, because people that are affected by reckless web animations are also 2.2 billion with a vision disability, 75 million on the autistic spectrum, 50 million with epilepsy, 78 million with dyslexia, etc. I think you catch my drift. I don't need to insist with numbers. In short, your gifts and your animations are making billions of us sick.